How is it going, Idola fans? We got 2 new units to break down today. Let's hop right into it. You know the deal. Let's do it. We are giving away 50 Bezos bucks once we hit 1,000 subs, guys. We are giving anyone that is a sub, if you comment on a video, you get a marble entered into the competition. And hey, if we are past 1,000 subs, go ahead and do it anyway. We are definitely going to be doing something after it. We hit the 1,000 mark anyway, so you might as well get on that one. Who knows what it could be? It could be 10 million. So the first we got to go over is this here Shanan. Shanan is obviously trying to attract a very specific dynamic of users here. And unfortunately, she is just a basic Cetus Idola user, which means that the people at Idola do not actually think she's going to be incredibly viable. But let's look at it and determine for ourselves. All right, guys, she has a 2-step normal attack, single target. On the second step, she has a 7% chance to inflict sleep, so you could get that up to about 12 to 17% using weapons and using soul symbols. Skills. Here on the default rank, we have a single target skill that does 180 damage at 2, so the next turn it is the fastest. If this attack is a weak hit, inflicts sleep to the target with a 75% chance. It's actually really good into fire units. It's a really strong water combo for 2 elemental requirements and a 5-turn cooldown. You get to put basically any fire hero you want to sleep with a 75% chance up to 85% chance, and it goes first, so they can't do anything. Be really good in the Summer Flamey. Die Another Day is her A3. Hits all enemies charge attack. It means it attacks next turn. So you do nothing for 1 turn and then you hit the next one. It is a 4 value. If this attack defeats an enemy, lower skill usage interval by 2 turns. Okay, so it goes down to 3 instead of 2. While charging, increase invasion by 90%. So honestly, 150 to 190 hit all, not very interesting, but this is interesting. The evasion of 90%, basically you're buffing your ability to dodge out whatever you think's coming your way for 1 turn. And then you have 150 damage the next turn to all enemies. That might come back and bite you if you want to do something the next turn. And if you're using, it's increase evasion by 90%, not a 90% chance to invade or evade. So if you have a low evasion unit, which I guess we could just go check with her because it's only her, right? It doesn't show me here. But if they have a low evasion chance, and then you're boosting it by 90, but given that it's part of her kit, I would imagine that her evasion is very high. So basically you miss out on 1 turn to dodge whatever, do AoE to everybody else, but you don't get the ability to reactively do something on turn 2. You only get to proactively do something on turn 1. And then her elemental blast is a single target 600 power to 840, which is pretty strong. 80% chance to inflict sleep. Wow, that's actually really good too. If this is her default's viable already, and it's neutral. Really? She's viable as a default, period. Let's go into her law. Nothing new here in the normal attacks and the skills. This looks to be the exact same. That means they likely switched the second one, and they did. This is also a charge attack, but they changed the second step here. While charging, evasion by 90 and attack by 15. Why do you care if your attack is up while you're charging? It doesn't say that this lasts 2 turns. Maybe if you have some sort of weapon that returns damage based off your attack, or you have some counter thing going. I don't understand what this does. That seems pretty useless. And then Elemental Blast, Cryo Ballistic. Target all enemies 282. Increase damage by 30% to enemies with a status effect. That's pretty interesting. If this attack defeats an enemy, increase all attribute value by 3. Wow. Wow. All attribute values by 3. Whoa. That could, if this kills 2 people, or even 1, this is game changing. That changes the entire tide of the battle if this kills someone. What's her speed at? I mean, she's pretty fast. 5'10", that's really fast. That's super interesting. I don't think that it's like meta viable, but you could definitely put her in a niche comp if you had her on law. That's super interesting. Now, I will say the damage output there is kind of lackluster for the costing and potentially the other units that you're getting rid of. So like if you're gonna, since she's water, replace her with like, or put her in place of like Summer Stella or something like that, or as a secondary to that. I don't know. She actually might pair pretty well with Summer Stella now that I think about it, with the utility of the sleep that she has through here. That's actually not bad at all. And you're kind of replacing somewhat of Camphor if this kills, but Summer Stella is likely hitting first. I don't know. I'm mixed results on the law right now. I actually think I understand the defaults utilization better. And then Chaos, looks like the first normal skill's the same, and since the law had the better or a different A3, we'll likely see a different A2 here. Single enemy, power 190. Yep. If this attack hits a weak hit, inflicts sleep on the target with a 75% chance, increase damage by up to 100% based on the amount of turns passed. Passed from what? I don't get it. Passed from what? Hit all enemies 150, a charge attack, increase evasion by 90, so it's the exact same as the default. And then her Elemental Blast, Kiss of Thantos, 620, single target, 80% chance to inflict sleep, decrease target's attribute value by 2. Wow. Yeah, right off the bat, this is a Chaos only unit for me. That's awesome, especially if you're running into a mono team or they're stacking up on relying on a specific EB. This seems really good. I think she's a very viable hero. I don't know that she's a must-have, but I think the Chaos form here is really good, actually. All right, Astartes. We have another neutral unit with a Virgo. Okay, that's interesting. So this might be the true prize that's coming out of here. She looks to be like a harp angel. No, she's an elf. Her normal attack is a 10% chance to inflict dizzy. Okay, that's actually not bad. 10% on turn 1. You could get that up to 20% if you wanted to. Heavenly Flugel. All allies targets with an 8 with a auto attack 2. Implies regen to all allies. That's pretty nice. Increase attack of allies by 10%. That's really strong. Oh no, never mind. That's skill 2. That's A2. I thought this was normal attack 2. My gosh. Okay, I was about to say that's really freaking strong for auto attack. Okay, that makes a lot more sense of that being an A2. And then Melodious Fall. Single target, decrease critical rate of the target enemy by 20%. That's actually pretty huge. Into counterplay, it's not the craziest of A3s, but it's a good A3 with a pretty decent amount of utility. So let's look at the EB here. All allies 7, so it's a low value requirement. Fastest priority. Okay, recover HP of all allies with a potency of 300. Wow, applies guts to all allies. Okay, wow, that's actually really, really strong as a utility right there. Really strong, especially at 7 on rock. Okay. And then she doesn't have a law form, she just has neutral. So let's go through that. 10% chance to increase dizzy. Applies regen, increase attack of allies by 10% for 15 for 2 turns. Increase defense of all allies. Wow, that's a really strong A2. That's basically a Nadia A3 on a shorter cooldown with less requirements. Wow. Melodious Fall, single target, decrease critical rate of an... Okay, so the same thing there on the neutral. And this is the same, but it cures all status effects. Wow, so this is like the 5-star version of Nadia, and Nadia is already like almost an S tier unit as it is. So other than the element typing of being an earth, which I feel like is harder to play around than a water or a fire or a wind, this is like top tier unit from surface value right here. Let's look at the chaos form. Same auto attack, and then this is likely what changes. No. Interesting. This looks like the same as, yeah, this, okay, so this is the same. Oh, okay, I see the difference. I was looking at it and I was like, this looks the exact same. Okay, but she targets all enemies, not just a single, and decreases all enemies' defense by 10% for 2 turns. Not bad. Defense down is pretty good to counter into defense up champions like Popo. But 2 turns is kind of short for an A3 with a 6 requirement. Though it is an attack all enemies as a rock typing, so that's good because Totonoto is the only earth type with an AoE. So now we have another one. In the EB, all allies, fastest priority. The same for the first 2 on the default, and then increases weak hit damage of all allies by 10% for 2 turns. Huh. Not bad. Okay, both sides here are incredibly viable. I think I would go with, unless you are going with the mono element team typing, I think I would go with, or you need the rock AoE, I think I would go with the neutral. Because you can still put it in chaos. Cure all allies of status effects is super important right now. And decreasing the critical rate of the opponent is super strong right now. So I think I like the neutral more than the chaos, but I definitely understand why you could want to run the chaos. I would say both versions of this are in the S tier. And guys, that'll do it for this. This is a crazy good champion.